3.
Yay!
It's Keith the Cop. What's up, man?
Hold on. I'm trying to get my headphones in.
They're in. I can see them in your ear.
I know they're in my ear. You know the mental state I'm in right now.
Keith the Cop, who started making edibles and growing his own weed once he retired from the force.
Oh, yeah. I had a couple bags of the Keith the Cop special.
Yeah.
They're like black and green.
Yeah, well, Danny Glover. We smoked that one for a while.
Yes.
Remember, because we got it from a fan who passed away, a subscriber.
Did he? That guy?
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, he passed away.
The guy who would make weed beer?
Yeah, that was good beer. Rogan even loved it when he came in.
That guy died?
Yeah. He,
damn.
You know, I texted him a while back, and I didn't hear from him. And then I texted him again, and like a couple weeks later, the phone rang. It was his number, and I picked it up. I go, "Hey, man, where you been?" And it was his wife. And she said, yeah, he had like a brain aneurysm or something, and he died.
Did he make it to when Jersey legalized weed? Because he was all
about... No.
Oh, fuck. He was all about it. He was like prepping himself. He had all the things set up and ready to do it.
He wanted to go into business together in New York and New Jersey and open up shops together.
Yeah, I mean...
He was a good dude. He knew a lot about pot.
Yeah. So what's been going on?
Can I say something nice about Keith?
Yes.
The best talents that ever came across, like the peak periods of Compound Media, were because of the talent that Keith brought
signed,
in.
Yeah.
Like you really knew what you were doing, and in
signed
hindsight,
this piece of talent, so I don't detect a lie here.
This talent too.
This talent was signed because of Keith.
Listen, number one, I appreciate that, and look, you know, first and foremost, you know, Garrett, thanks for taking the leap when you took the leap when we were in the basement and coming out and, you know, doing almost 10 years. You know, it was a lot of fun, and to have you on board, you know, that really helped us move in the right direction when it was just me, Anthony, and Rat in the basement.
Yeah.
And you know, it really helped form, you know, Anthony's show and then Compound Media.
Yep.
And, you know, look, I thought about a lot of that, and I have not spoken to anybody on air or anything like that since I left.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I sit back and you look at a lot of the talent that did come through there that have just blown up in the comedy world.
The top of the comedy world. Yeah.
It's the top. Literally is the top of the comedy world. And, you know, and what Lewis built over, you know, with Skankfest and everything. I mean, these guys, there was a lot of people that loved Anthony and that wanted to be a part of what we were building.
Yeah.
And, you know, the hardest part of it, became having to do the subscription model and you know, not having the resources that other people had because they were, you know, had a little more advertiser friendly shows to put it at the least, you know, because you know the advertising makes up a big portion of it.
Totally.
But you know, I sit back and I text Andrew Schultz not too long ago, and I was like, hey man, I go, just amazing what you're doing, and I wish, you know, because he approached me back in the day to do something and we just didn't have it. And, you know, he
reached out to John and I to have us build his studio.
I remember.
Yeah, and then decided like he didn't need me, and just maybe he just had John do it or something. I was fine with, you know, wasn't a big thing.
Luckily, that guy went nowhere.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
he also owns multiple podcasting studios, Garrett.
What?
He also owns multiple podcasting studios.
Yeah.
Oh, so
we walk Keith.
You better call him.
Oh, hey!
There we go.
He's got the volcano. Keith, when you talked me into coming to work here, I just want you to know that you said that I would have all the weed that I could ever smoke. I'm still waiting for that weed.
Well, I moved.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, we would. And you know how much of a bummer it is to go from a weed-friendly state to a non-weed friendly state again?
I know, like. when Anthony moved down to South Carolina, there was a thought maybe some of us would have to move down there. And I was like, one thought was like, fuck, the weed's illegal down there. It's going to be annoying to find a new dealer.
God, he made it so eady for us to
but
not
now I don't have to worry about that.
Not to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got to tell you, down south living doesn't suck. I really enjoy it. I mean, now I'm like an old guy on a golf cart, just telling stories, and it's not bad. We're having a good time.
Good. Well, yeah.
As an ex-compound, well, not even employee, you were more like a CEO. The question we have for all the ex-compound is, how did you leave? Like, why did you leave?
It just got really stressful. Look with some of the silliness that went on. And, I've heard Kevin say good things about me. I've heard Kevin say bad things about me. People drop a hint every once in a while. They'll say, and Kevin was great. I love Kevin.
Kevin's
but just the fucking headaches that you had to go through with some of the talent was just, and not just them, and running the whole thing and trying to, the tech portion. And I mean, shit, that was, look how many problems we had from, one provider to another, and just trying to keep it all together.
Find a provider that would host our content and stuff was just so hard. And then once you found a few of those, then it's like, which one is good enough to do it? You just had to,
And they promised the world and stuff. Yeah. And look, when conversations with Lewis when he first started, and we saw that they had the same issues at Gas Digital. It happens because you're not a major corporation, and you're doing it on your own servers.
You've never done it before. You don't know which way to go or what decision to make. But
it was definitely a good time. It just got to a point where I just didn't think that I could go any further with it. And look, Anthony, I still have a great relationship. I got burnt out, and it just became time. And I literally just walked over, told him, his house, I couldn't do it anymore. And that was it.
Do you regret it at all, or not even?
No. Listen, everything in life,
especially not now.
You move on and do different things.
Yeah.
Is there things I would have liked to have done differently? Look, the conversations I had with Opie, would it have been great to put it back together, even if for a little while?
Still waiting.
I had lunch with Anthony Weiner, that we were going to put together the Anthony and Anthony show, and then, until he became a kid toucher the second time. Talking with OJ's people about doing a show on the network. There were things that we just never talked about. Or touched a little bit on.
One of the shows that made it to the air but was a disaster directly after was Nails Off the Rails, the Lenny Dykstra show.
You have a voicemail of him threatening me for about 2 minutes. And just, it's like, you remember, it actually happened when I was still there. But it was just so funny, was I going to walk down the block to the police with it or something? And it was like such a goofy thing. Like he was threatening me, like he was coming after me for $400 that he said I promised him. I never promised him any money.
Not you.
Yeah.
That guy was off the rails.
Yeah.
That nails.
Yeah. Look, there's experiences that you have even doing, look, we didn't get A-list celebrities, but we got a lot of really cool celebrities. We got to meet a lot of great comedians.
You got Shane Gillis before Shane Gillis.
Exactly.
How crazy is that? And he still won't return my calls.
Well, listen, that happens to all of us. But Shane, exactly. Shane was great. And, having talking with him when, the whole Saturday Night Live thing was going on and, about pulling content down. And, we got jammed in something, pulling content down earlier. In the time frame, like giving up Legion of Skanks when we had a right to still broadcast it. But I'm glad it worked out for him that he didn't get the show and the way his life went, because it's a hell of a lot better. But we had to have those conversations, him and I, about taking down that content. And I told him, I go, listen, if they already got this other stuff,
and they didn't even need the compound stuff. They just went with the secret show stuff.
Yeah, we didn't even get like a mention, so.
No.
But
it is what it is.
I did get to be on TMZ though, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not one follower from that.
Yeah.
They tried to pound Shane the second time. And they put the video up and they had the subtitles under it so you can see what Shane was saying.
Yeah.
And it said calm down media. Instead of compound media. When he mentioned us, it's like we even in the late stages, we couldn't get a single mention from this fucking guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but listen, the stuff we did in the basement will always be classic things.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, just like a memory you'll never forget, like that whole year or whatever it was down there. And all that. Remember the weird guy that bought Anthony a freezer for ice cubes and would come to the show, like come to live events or just Anthony's house and hand me like five $100 bills.
Well, yeah, he always gave us singles. We gave me like $1,500 in singles one time, like he owned a strip club or something.
He would give me money and stuff, and just like out of nowhere, and then he would buy Anthony like.
Didn't you keep this guy around? He was handing out money.
I think we tried. We didn't like. Or maybe he like got a little too weird or went a little too much, and we had to tell. Keith might have told him to back off.
Two of his wives like died.
Yes.
Oh. It was like some weird story. Like this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know about this guy.
And I remember, like, we all know Ben Ratner is Jewish, and this guy would offer Ben Ratner money, and Ben would not take the money. This is how sketchy he was. This guy, yeah. Wow. And Ben didn't trust him at all. And I was amazed. Yeah. I was like, fuck it, I'm taking it.
Yeah, may as well.
Ratner didn't take the money.
Do we want to keep Keith on the line? Ed, there's a guy in the Zoom named Jimmy. I don't know who that could be.
I think it's Jim from Florida.
Okay, so it could be him, and then we got all the phone lines are packed
we'll
too.
Ask Keith, because I think Kevin Brennan's on the line.
That's true.
Kevin Brennan is
Keith,
on the line.
Do you want to talk to Kevin Brennan?
I'll say hello, but I don't got much more than that.
He's on us.
Let's do it. Line number 1.
Okay. Kevin.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Kev.
I'm in my car.
Thanks for such kind words you had for me today. I listened to most of it, and it was heartfelt.
How are you watching my show if you're doing your show?
I watched it between Anthony's show and our show.
Oh. Okay, first of all, I guess Keith was on. Keith.
He's there.
How are you,
Keith, I'm fine. I don't want no trouble, but
good.
Let me get this straight. You hired Bill Schultz instead of Andrew Schultz?
In hindsight, yes, I guess that's a very true statement.
I just want to make sure I heard that right.
No, yes, he did work there prior to his brother approaching us. But yes, we did hire his brother instead of.
No, they're cousins, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cousins? I thought they were brothers. Well, there you go.
Okay, Garrett.
Yeah.
Keith, you know I'm a fan. You know we had a couple of misunderstandings along the way. I just don't want to crash my car. I got emotional today because, and if Keith wants to back me up, Garrett, listen. I didn't work on radio for a long time, but you're not good at your job. You're fucking great at your job. Me and Brian McCarthy would come in. Our show was such a shit show. Keith will second that. And we would cut to you. You always had something funny to say. You're always paying attention. I was like, in my head, I was like, why is Garrett paying attention to this fucking shit show? He's hired to do Anthony Cumia's show, and basically everything else is gravy. So I was always like amazed that you always laughed at the jokes. And the one thing I always said, there's no way Cumia. The only person Cumia needs is Anthony himself and Garrett, and he's good to go. So the fact that you were let go blows my fucking mind. Like, I almost started crying practically on my show today. I was very, shocked and depressed about it.
Thank you, Kevin. I noticed you brought me up many times, and it was very much appreciated. And agree with your sentiments, you know? Like, even the thoughts around here was like, oh, everyone's going to be fired except me.
I've said that a lot. Like, we're all getting the boot, but Anthony's going to tell you to move to South Carolina with him.
Or something, yeah, but...
And then never happened.
I get it, why he didn't, you know, it's...
Yeah, it turns out he hates you. He wants you to fucking live on the streets and be destitute.
So Asian Pat Dixon is doing all these shows now?
Supposedly.
No, he's doing Anthony's, I think.
Just Anthony's, yeah, just Anthony's.
Gino and Chrissy have to do their own.
No, but I'm saying he's going to do all the main shows. He's going to do Gavin's show, and then he's going to do Anthony's show.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I can have you on my show and ask all these detailed questions, but like, so when I called you on Monday about E-Rock, you already knew that you were like fired?
Yeah, we knew last Wednesday that we were all fired, but we were told not to say anything about it.
I mean, that's unbelievable. You're getting fired and you're still like a good soldier to the end. Even today when that guy called in, he's like, why don't they fucking walk out? I was like, yeah, why don't they?
Because Anthony deserves it. Like, he kept this around so much longer than it had to be, and we had the easiest jobs ever, and we were pretty much sucking off the tit of Anthony.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And it was like, we'll do it as long as we can, and thank you for letting us do it for as long as we did. Like, that's why.
Okay.
That's a very good way of putting it.
And so Anthony, did you find out from Gavin, or did Anthony kind of DM you or text you on the side?
No, it was like a meeting after Gavin and Anthony's show last Wednesday, and Anthony was on Zoom, you know, and Gavin was in the studio.
Anthony didn't know the meeting was happening.
Anthony didn't know the meeting was happening that day.
He said, I was like, are you sticking around for the meeting? And he was like, what meeting? Yeah. Like,
and then today he heard that people were announcing it was the last show at Compound, and he was like, wait, is it? And then had to look up that we were off next week, and finally realized that, yes, we were. We're
really off next week. We're the offest we've ever been next week.
So he had no idea on that either.
And was Gavin a dick when he gave you guys the news?
He said it sucks for Garrett because, you know, he gave Garrett all these compliments, and it was like, it sucks you're fired.
He was a dick.
Yeah, he was a dick.
He was
He was a dick to everybody, and, well, not everybody in particular. He was actually really nice to me. But I don't want to be...
He wasn't a dick, but he was just like... He was protecting his friend Anthony and didn't really care about the rest of us, kind of. Like, we were all costing Anthony money, and he was helping his friend Anthony not lose money anymore and doing what he thought was right.
He's the moneymaker.
Yeah. We're told he...
Gino has a fan base of 50.
Those 50 people pay a lot of money.
Listen, every time somebody was calling today, it's like, you're keeping Gino Visconti and letting the great Garrett, whatever the fuck your last name is, and you're firing Garrett? I was like, what is, every time the caller was saying, I was like, yes.
I swear to God.
That's right, girlfriend.
I'm pretty sure he's doing that specifically to piss you off. He was going to fire Gino, but he was like, but that'll make Kevin happy. So I'm going to keep Gino and literally fire everyone else.
And I think they wanted just to keep the Compound part of Compound censored. Like, if it was just Anthony, that's kind of weird that,
Although
he is hostile takeover, you know?
It did start with, live from the Compound, just Anthony. So it wouldn't be that crazy, but you want to keep a couple shows.
Garrett, everybody was saying on the line, which is true, it's like, you're part of Compound. You, like he said, you were there from the fucking basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was glad he came, Kevin, because he, he's a big part of the success of the network.
And Garrett, did you have to quit a job to go work for Anthony?
I mean, I knew Jay Thomas I didn't know he had terminal cancer, but I knew he had cancer, and he was kind of scamming Sirius and kept saying he had to film a movie, but he was really getting cancer treatment so he could take off shows and stuff. So I quit my job at Sirius, but I wanted to, it was like I needed to get out.
You were about to not have a job.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this, except no offer.
I don't know. I don't know. First of all, Garrett, when I called you on Monday about Iraq, you were laughing on the phone. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you laugh everything off. I guess that's the greatest way to fucking handle it. But listen, man, to say like I wish you well, but I think everybody calling in today was mad because it's like, listen, Gino Bisconte is one thing, but like you're like beloved. I mean, people love you, and for a good reason, because you're a great guy and you're fucking great at your job. So when they hear that, you're like, I understand they got to merge and they understand they got to cut people, but it's like, you don't get rid of Garrett. Like, he's from the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, even
we were
Keith
getting
is calling
fired
in.
except for Garrett.
Keith probably feels bad for you because it's like he brought you there, and it's like he knows you're like part of the fabric of the fucking show.
Yeah, yep.
100%.
Yeah, no, he reached out to me, and when it first happened, he found out. Yeah, everyone did. But the thing is, there's not that many things out there that do this job. Like, I could be good at this job, but no one really needs it too, you know?
You could replace Jamie on Joe Rogan. You're a way better Jamie.
Yeah, I could, but like everyone that has a show like that has their guy.
You already got a Jamie.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how you become the new Jamie.
No.
It's very
That's why
hard.
you have to do your own thing, whatever it is. You just have to do it because there's nobody like you. There's nobody
Thank
like
you,
you. And we
Lobe.
all know it. We've all known it. And I don't want to say what everybody else is saying. You know it. You know how I feel. So you just have to do it.
I agree.
Well,
You have to do it.
yes.
You have to keep Garrett on the internet. Ain't getting out that easy. You're going to be talking about black people till the day you die on the web.
All right, well, listen, I'm going to go watch the
All right.
debate.
Yes.
Thanks for
Thanks for
reaching out.
calling in. Yeah, it was
Keith,
great.
thank
No, my
Hanging out.
pleasure. Like I said, I haven't been on since on anyone's show or done anything since I left
Yeah,
Compound.
such an honor.
So I just, I'll say, your mom's box.
Your mom's box. Yeah.
You know, Keith.
And Kevin,
Keith.
thank you for calling in and the kind words.
Yeah, we don't have to keep him on, right?
I like how Garrett gives me the email. He gives me the poor people call-in line. I'm like, I got the fucking hotline number. What the fuck are you doing? I called in. It was like, it was busy, and then I checked my phone. I'm like, wait, he gave me the poor people call-in line? Fuck that. I'm using the hotline. So I can get through. Anyway, Garrett, you got to do my show, please. I'm begging you. I mean, it's like...
I'll definitely do your show.
No, my fans love you too because all I ever say is like it's like I was always amazed at how good you were at your job, and like again, I'm not saying that because it's like your last day. Yeah, I was always amazed. I was always slightly amazed. That's what I was like. I was always like, how did they get Garrett, and how is he so fucking good at this job? I mean, it was like I said, like me and Brian McCarthy, Brian McCarthy loved you. He would make you fucking cookies and shit, and that was like fun and everything and very gay, but it was, I was always still like, yeah, I mean, Garrett is fucking amazing. And one of the real regrets I had when I quit the first time.
Compliments you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the real regrets I had the first time when I quit was like going to the studio and just seeing you guys, especially Garrett, because Garrett was always like laughing no matter what was going on. He was laughing, and again, as soon as like me and Brian quit, that was one of the things I was like, oh, I fucked up because I should have tried to stay longer just for the going to, because then we were going to the comic strip and it was depressing. But you always made going to Compound like a lot of fun. So I'll hang up. I'm listening to the show, but like I just want to say I was really taken aback today that you were let go, and it hit me kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie because like I said on my show, I don't want to belabor the point, but you're fucking great, and and everything, all the fans that were calling in and complaining about you being let go and saying they've been with Anthony from the beginning and blah blah blah. I was like, yes. I mean, that's the one time I was like, I agree with every caller that was calling in, just so mad, because I was mad, but I was more like, holy shit, what fucking business are we in? But anyway, you're the best, and thanks for taking my call. I'll hang up and listen now.
All right, thanks, Kevin. I love you.
All right, you guys. You too. I love you guys.
All right, bye.
I think